There is comfort in putting 2020 behind us, isn't there? It was a year of challenges and unprecedented obstacles that were brought to our reality. If you are feeling that way and you're looking for extra coaching and freebies, please go to my website at www.amanda-desilva.com, where you can find all of this helpful information, free information at your fingertips, as well as opportunities to work with me one-on-one in coaching and a group setting. The freebies I have for you right now are get your happiness guide and join our Mindset Mondays, where you will be reminded each week of all of these valuable mindset tools that will help you be your best self. The pandemic triggered the economic downfall of many companies, businesses, and organizations. Almost overnight, CEOs found their revenues plunging. And so this Mindset Monday, I want to focus on the top 5 challenges that leaders face in 2021 and how to mitigate them. Your organization has managed to find a good balance and is expecting more growth in 2021, or whether your company has come to a standstill and is barely surviving, you need to develop a compelling strategy that is going to lead your company forward so that you can see profits and more growth. You want a company with a promising future, one that takes into account the most pressing pain points that you had to deal with in 2020. So here are the top 5 challenges that leaders face in 2021 and how to mitigate them. Challenge number 1 is remote employee engagement. Now, keeping everybody engaged while they're working remotely online is definitely a challenge that leaders and CEOs face in their companies right now. We've almost had a year to transition and figure this out, but there are still issues surrounding that topic of keeping people working together as a community, yet separately in their own remote work environments. As the percentage of remote employees is ever increasing, and despite the infinite nature of this pandemic, some things are still within our control. First, as a leader, you have to embrace collaboration tools and virtual engagement aids that will allow you to communicate clearly and frequently. Sharing updates and making sure everyone is on the same page is vital. You can't afford to leave room for speculation, because that will only augment your employees' anxiety and feelings of alienation from the company and its mission, not to mention how detrimental it is to their engagement. In addition to that, you also need to invest time and energy in making your employees feel valued, respected, and included. Finding creative ways to build and sustain company culture virtually is of utmost importance. This cannot happen without reimagining the features and aspects that distinguish your company culture and make it a desirable work environment. So what are the features of your company that distinguish it from other companies and make that culture really vibrant and an engaging place to work, even if you are in a remote work setting? Well, let's think about the human element here. What makes us feel great? We can receive letters in the mail still. That would be a great way to connect with your other business leaders, your community, and your colleagues, to send them a personal note. I mean, that's so rare nowadays, isn't it? Another way is to produce a video. Send them something where they can see you and hear you, and just give them some gratitude and thanks for what it is they're doing. As well, via video and or voice, you can always record something that lets them know weekly what the status is, what you're working on, what you're innovating, how you're moving the business forward, and where that business is standing in the midst of this pandemic. Where is the future of this company going, and where is that boat or bus headed on its pathway and journey, and how are they engaged in that process and that bigger mission and vision? Challenge number 2 is sustaining sales. Now, with the economic downfall that we've all experienced, it's been a challenge for companies and leaders to sustain those sales at the levels that they saw pre-pandemic. In spite of that, it's in these instances that you have to find new and innovative ways to connect with your audience and customer base, right? The first step to do this is to get closer to your existing clients and take the time to understand the challenges that they are facing. This will allow you to better customize what you have to offer so it suits their needs. It also makes you more reliable and trustworthy as a company. Moreover, you need to update your channels of communication and the messages that you diffuse. Some of the methods that you'd use to reach out to customers pre-pandemic will most likely come across as tone deaf or blatantly inappropriate nowadays, so craft these directives that are bound to resonate with people in 2021 and be prepared to tweak and adjust these messages as things continue to shift. Number 3 is creating a safe environment for employees. Now, adjusting to the seismic shifts that we've had with the pandemic, This is of utmost importance because you want to get back to best practices in a post-COVID world, let's say, and you want to make sure that your employees feel that they are safe within the workplace and the environment. This means that leaders have to take the initiative to set new office standards, especially when it comes to sanitization and the prevention of an outbreak. So this is if you're having employees coming to your work. As a leader, you have to create new policies and set expectations that reinforce certain behaviors, like wearing a mask and going through the daily temperature checks and reporting any symptoms. Standards need to be clear and non-negotiable so that your employees are more susceptible in following the rules. You can make adjustments for enough space between desks, let's say, or regulating traffic and limiting the number of people who attend meetings. This will help minimize safety risks and make employees feel well cared for. Challenge number 4 is managing finances in a shifting environment. And one of the most valuable lessons that leaders learned, at least I did for myself in 2020, is that we are always planning for the next crisis. And we can't guarantee that 2021 won't have its share of surprises and challenges. So it's always good to plan for the worst and hope for the best, but to have those contingency plans in place. So my best advice to you would be to use scenario planning to predict everything that could go wrong and make strategic decisions that will help you mitigate those risks. This is especially important because it shows you which factors actually lie within your control and which ones don't. There are many factors in business which lie within your control, but there are so many that also lie out of your control and out of bounds for you in order for you to fix. And I learned this the hard way in 2019 and 2020. But what I did was that the 5th challenge I want to talk about today is team cohesion. And that was one highly regarded principle and one of paramount importance that I made sure in our organization that we were thriving. Unfortunately, team cohesion is also one of the top aspects that suffered due to the major changes that occurred after companies are forced to completely restructure and re-engineer their business strategies. When employees are not in congruence with these strategies, team cohesion deteriorates. Stress this enough that reinforcing that sense of team cohesion and union is essential in order to build trust and productivity in 2021 for you. And you cannot do this without understanding both the individual and the group as a whole. So let's take a moment to recap the top 5 challenges that leaders face in 2021. My first challenge, number 1, was remote employee engagement and how to create that sense of union when people are working remotely. Challenge number 2 was sustaining sales, and how do you do this when your fair share of customers are also experiencing the economic downfall due to constraints. Challenge number 3 was creating a safe environment for employees, which is of paramount importance when there is shifts and changes within an organization. Challenge number 4, managing finances in a shifting environment. This will always be a critical factor that you need to mitigate risks against, because COVID or no COVID, these aspects can come up and hit you like a ton of bricks. Challenge number 5 was building that team cohesion. If you love this Mindset Monday and you want to become your best self, I want to coach you. I want to work with you one-on-one. So please go to my website at www.amanda-desilva.com, where you will see my coaching program. You can also, if you don't want to work one-on-one, we also have a group coaching program that I'm opening again in the summertime, and you can check that out. And last but not least, I also have a Discover Your Purpose course that takes you through the very beginnings of how you are going to structure that pathway, that journey, that destination and dream that you want to set out and achieve. So all of that can be found on my website, including freebies. So head on over to www.amanda-desilva.com, where you will find all of this information. Feel free to click on that little icon below so that you're subscribed to my YouTube channel. Thank you for spending your time with me and watching to the very end of my video. I really thank you for sharing this space with me. Have a wonderful day.